Hey there, everyone. It's Rob Ryder. Today is Wednesday, November 16th, 2016, and we're going to continue with my last video was on adventures in paper chasing, and I had Bobby Kirby with me from Arizona, and I have Bobby with me again. Say hi, Bob.
How's it going, everyone?
There's Bob. And what Bob did in the interim was he had contacted his servicer and asked for some information from them. And well, that's what we're going to kind of look at. Is they sent him a lot of papers. Um, the best way I can see to go through this now is just to go through them from the first to the end and pick out the things that we've seen, and hopefully somebody out there sees what we're seeing or sees something different and makes it. I can think of something to do with it. But so. Why don't you give a little history of how this happened, Bob, before we get in the papers? What transpired, and really just
Okay.
with the servicing company, I guess, more than anything else. That because this is what other people have to do is contact their servicer to get these papers.
Okay. Well, I guess is basically is when you had good. We had started with the article from John, who is a paralegal that used to work for an attorney at people that were in foreclosures, and apparently had the come into Jesus moment where he wrote this article out and started talking about the players in the game when it comes to the people in the foreclosures, and one of them is being the servicers. And when we looked at the servicers, it was had to do something with mirrors. And so you had showed me the mirrors website to go to and enter my MIN number, which was on my deed of trust, to figure out who the servicer was. And so I had put it into the system, and lo and behold, it showed that PHH Corporation was the servicer to my deed of trust, if you will, or note, or whatever. We'll find out what it exactly is as we go through this.
Right. Mirror says they're your servicer. That's all we know. For this MIN number, they're the servicer. PHH Mortgage. At this point, that's all you know.
That's all I know, exactly.
Yeah.
And so instead of going by the 800 number, I wanted to actually contact them via email, so at least I had something in writing going on with them, rather than just talking to some person in their customer service department. So I went ahead and put PHX Corporation into Google, happened to come to another website, which happened to have an email address there, which was just to their general customer service. And so that's what kind of started me on that journey from there
So you found the
to
website for the
go.
bank online, basically, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Okay.
PHX Mortgage, yep,
Yep.
that's what I did.
Okay.
And so then that's when I sent them an email, and that's what we started to look at. And one of the things that we were happened to be looking for at the time when we finally came across this was I was trying to find the endorsement in blank from a bank on my note, because you had been looking at a forensic audit that I had sent over to you, that I believe you put into the video one or two back, that showed there was an endorsement from a bank on there, but it was in blank, where it just said pay to the order of, had the banker or senior vice president or whoever of a bank on that thing. And so I wanted to get mine because, as you'd point out, if we can get it and sign it and do something with it, we could get paid. And
Right.
so
That is
that was
that
the
it's in
whole start
blank,
of
and
this.
whoever signs the pay the order of line, well, they should be able to get paid. And so yeah, that was the idea. We'll get it and be the pay the order of. Absolutely. Okay.
Right, and so that's what started the whole process with these guys, and it was a kind of a back and forth deal. Because what was a little frustrating is that when you do the customer service, you're never getting the same person in response back, so it's always a new person in a round robin type of situation that was always answering back to me. And then when I wasn't getting my things, they told me that I needed to fax it in as a written request, which I did. And then they tell you that it's going to take a few days to, put it into their system. And then when I follow up, they sent me back over the same note that they had already emailed me over before. And I had to, continuing to follow up and send them stuff, and especially sending my friends note endorsed in blank to them to specifically show them what it was that I was looking for. And then the last straw with them is where I had sent an email after a few days follow up. I think it was a 10-day follow up. And the guy said that he had no problem with me, that, I would just need to fax something over. And that's when it was kind of the last straw, because I felt like now I was going to start all over again after I've already done that. So I just happened to call them on a day because they are 3 hours ahead of us in New Jersey. And so I had happened to call when they were closed and speak to a woman that's just their answering service 24/7, I'm assuming. But at that particular time, she told me that they had a lien department there, a lien release department, excuse me, and then also said that they had a customer advocate that was there that would be able to help me out. And so she sent me over to that person, which I left a message and said just give 24 hours and they would give me a call back. And they did, and the journey's begun ever since, and got some interesting stuff.
Okay, right. So out of all that, the quickest thing may be to see if you can get a hold of customer advocate right off the bat if you're going to try this on your own. But and then the papers that Bob's talking about being endorsed in blank, we're going to look at here shortly. But what we were saying was endorsed in blank. When you explained it to this person that was on after hours, they said that sounds more like a bank, B-A-N-K endorsement than a blank, B-L-A-N-K endorsement.
Exactly.
Because it had the pay to the order of line on, right? That a blank endorsement doesn't have any pay to the order, just whoever has the certificate is, or the piece of paper is they're the bearer, right?
Right. Exactly.
Right. More like a dollar bill, right? That's that's endorsed in blank. You don't have to have your name. You just take and give it to somebody. But,
correct.
But what they gave us has pay to the order with the line being blank, and that's a bank endorsement, which kind of symbolizes they took your mortgage note and converted it to a bank note by putting a bank endorsement on it. Paid to the order of, and it's paid to the order of, and it's payable on demand in Federal Reserve notes. And so that's why we're trying to get this document to say, okay, we're going to sign it, say pay us on demand in Federal Reserve notes, legal tender, basically. And as you'll see, they didn't want to do that. But so we're going to just start going through the papers. So this was just a cover letter here from Merrill Lynch, which has something to do with PHH Mortgage. But actually, PHH Mortgage is like the servicer of Merrill Lynch, who's actually the servicer to Bank of America, I think. Or
yeah, you're right.
Right?
Bank of America, that's who it is. Yep.
And then somehow, but Merrill Lynch was the trustee on your deed of trust. Right?
They were the lender.
They were the lender. Okay, they held the position of lender on your deed of trust. Okay. So they should have been the servicer, because once they go from lender, they're supposed to go to servicer. But they actually were the servicer who have a servicer, and they call it PHH Mortgage. Just like they're trying to create this string of people between the actual paper that means something and the shit they're giving you on the telephone. Right? That's how it looks to me at this, right? To stretch it out. In fact, that's kind of what John had spoke about in where they try to create this chain from in case of bankruptcies or something like that, as I remember. I don't know if we're going to read the letter, but I'm going to leave it up right here unless there's something on there specifically you want to speak about, because I don't know that I want to.
No, there's nothing really there other than, just to show where, if they want to look at the fact that, you have it on PHH Mortgage paper up in the right-hand corner.
Yeah.
And it says for the Merrill Lynch there at the top. Yep. But then when we went to that website down below, that's where we've, and even up there where it says Bank of America Corporation. So you got 3 different people on one piece of paper there.
What I will notice on here is they didn't use your middle name. They put Robert Kirby. Right? Didn't use a middle initial, didn't use your middle name.
Right.
And document request, property address. Right? Now this is where your house had been, and they're using a W instead of West.
West.
Right?
Yep.
And so that does mean something, because the land address used the word West in it, as when we looked at your title insurance in the last video. Right? They actually spelled it out, right? So the land is with the West as a word, but the property is with the W instead of using the word West. We'll see what that means, someday. But yeah, and so then you could go log into merrillhomeloans.com, your servicing website connection. So this says your servicer is Merrill Home Loans, which is Merrill Lynch, not PHH Mortgage, but nevertheless, when you go to the website for mirrors, they're going to tell you it's PHH Mortgage. So just go with it.
Now here's something. Here's something for people though, Rob. I mean, just a sidebar there for that thing. And I had no idea about it, and other people probably have no idea about it. But if you go to that servicing website, apparently you're able to go ahead and get an account, which I did, and basically get all your information of anything and everything that's going on that they kind of track, and even still with what they're tracking today. They've put in notes in there that are current from what I've been asking in there. So
okay,
that's
so
just an
they're still
FYI.
updating the information in this Merrill Home Loans where you went to, and you got they're still updating information in there.
Yeah, I went ahead and put basically gave myself an account with them using my loan number, and yeah, they're putting in the notes that they've already been doing with me here recently.
Okay, well, good. And so we didn't know that this existed until they sent you this letter that, you think it's PHH Mortgage. Actually, it's Merrill Lynch, and they have their own website to go to, and they have information on your loan in there. Okay, the second page just had enclosures and didn't have anything added to it. There were no enclosures. Merrill Lynch is a loan servicer. PHH, yeah. So basically, it seems like Merrill Lynch is the loan servicer, and PHH is Merrill Lynch's servicer. Okay, so page 3 was another letter from enclosed. Find the following documents on the above reference paid off loan. Well, there you go. So what we got? We got the loan number. We got the property address with the W again, and this time the drive isn't spelled out. It's just DR instead of drive, DRIVE. Which I think if we went to the one above, yeah, that was drive. So it's interesting how they do these things for a reason. I don't know what the reasons are necessarily, but they're doing it for a reason. And they're using your middle initial for Robert B. Kirby. Okay, if you have any questions or concerns, blah, blah. So lien release department. And, okay, so now they started to send you papers. I'm on page 4. So these are different documents that the servicer had. Now, we don't know that they sent us everything because, as it turns out, Bob talked to him today, and they're going to send him more paperwork. But this was their first go. And back in 2012, Bob had opened up a court case against, this says Merrill Lynch Credit Corp. But was that who you did it against, or wasn't it against your title company? Because
it was supposed to be my title company. Right.
Yeah. So this whole thing is strange in the way that it was made, but I don't know how to add this. This is something that Bob did proactively, not something that was put in his case because he didn't do something. But this is the only piece of paper in this stack of papers he got that has anything to do with this court case. And it's an affidavit from the bank, basically saying they've reviewed the paperwork. And I didn't even read this thing, Bob, but what did it say? It's kind of the standard affidavit they put in people's court cases where somebody's reviewed the paperwork and everything they said is the way it is.
Yeah, it didn't really mean the affidavit didn't really say much other than that they're, the best way to say it, because it didn't say anything, is that everything was on the up and up, is pretty much how it said. I mean, there was no like aha or,
Right.
anything to really say,
But the aha is they never sent you a copy of this.
That's correct.
Right?
Yep.
This was put into a court case and you were never served a copy of it.
Yep.
And so I guess we don't have much to say on that. We're going to kind of go past that one. Except the other thing is that this is in Arizona. This paperwork's put together by some attorney firm in Nevada. That's on the left-hand side in the column. But the notary public is somebody from New Jersey on the affidavit, Well, if you want to use an affidavit or something from a notary public from another state in another state, you need to have a certificate of authority that goes with their to prove that they were a notary public at the time in New Jersey. And so technically, this doesn't have any legal value because it doesn't have the certificate of acknowledgement or a certificate of authority attached to it.
Well, shouldn't this also, Rob? I just noticed there, and it says state of New Jersey, county of Burlington. Well, this was supposed to be in Arizona, so why doesn't it say state of Arizona, county of Maricopa?
Where are you reading that at now, Bob?
The very first page there on this.
Okay.
It says Robert Bradford Kirby plaintiff versus Merrill Lynch Credit Corporation, and then right below that it says the state of New Jersey, county of Burlington. Well, this court case was supposed to be in Arizona, so why does it say state of New Jersey?
Well, I believe because they were doing it as an affidavit, right? So in that jurisdiction of New Jersey, Burlington.
I got you. So they took this there and put it over here. Okay.
Right. But they didn't, again, it was by some notary public. Well, actually, it's by a vice president subscribed to before a notary public that we don't know for sure the notary public is a notary public because we don't have their certificate of authority.
Right.
Okay. And then in a mortgage interest statement, we were hoping to get other forms like a 1099 or something like that, but we didn't get a 1098 that just for 1 year. See, this is a strange thing. They give you just 1 year's worth. Well, is that all you have? For me, is one year's worth of these, or looks like it's something they should have for every year.
Right.
So, but it does have so in the account number, that is the loan number. Right, and it's 3213. Is that your last four? Is that you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is you.
Yep.
You're the payer. Social Security number. They're using your middle initial and a W instead of. They're not using the land address, which would be with West.
Right. Now and drive also.
The thing is, if they use a 1098, they were supposed to have filed a 1096 also. Because I think on the 1096, all the other kinds of forms it's almost like a register, right? They get registered on the 1096 form, and it includes 1098s. So I don't know why you don't have a 1096, or why you don't have a 1099, or any of these other ones, as far as that goes. And I didn't take this EIN number of the recipient and see who that is, right? Because this says recipient lender. Right? Well, Mortgage Service Center isn't your lender, that's for sure. So what do they have to do with with your taxes? How'd they get involved?
Yeah, who are they?
Who are they? Okay, so page 7. Now we're getting into some interesting things. This is it's called a title transmittal. And at the top, it looks like a court case number was written in. CS 2005-003-11F. And I'm just going to skip back up real quick to look at this other one. And, this is how this other court case was. It was CV 2012-050113. So it's, it's the right style to be a court case. But we don't know what it is yet. But that is one of the questions you asked the servicer today, right? Was, what is this thing, right? LS or CS or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it said title transmittal, attention document control, Merrill Lynch gives the loan number again, and then somebody wrote in their number, so PHH 051705. Well, that's got to have something to do with PHH. That must be their file number for this, Bob.
Probably, yeah.
Right? I mean, and then it says RE, the 416 number. That has something to do with your title insurance. I believe that's.
So look at the names and the address there now.
Names and the address.
My name and my ex's name.
Oh yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Right. Because of the RE, this has to do with the title insurance had you and your wife or your ex and your full legal names, basically. That's how although they spell your last name with a T. I wonder if they did that on purpose. Your middle name, Brad Fort.
Right. Yeah, you're right, because that's not a D.
Right, it's not a D, is it? Should have been a D, correct? Right.
Yep. Yep.
But you see, they use West Gelding Drive. They spelt it all out, and but all that information from the RE 416 down was on your title insurance paperwork.
Yep.
And then it says, please find enclosed, and it doesn't say what's enclosed. Find what enclosed? And it went to the title officer. So Monica Barrow is a title officer for the Document Control Department at Merrill Lynch Corporation. She may be a good one to. Well, this is 5 years, or 11 years ago. I don't know if she's there anymore, but because we're working on something from 2005. That's why somebody would do one of these for something a few years old. A lot of the people will probably still be in the same offices, but someplace they got a title officer at Merrill Lynch Credit Corporation in the Document Control Department. One more thing we can look at. And then page 8 is an endorsement, and these are endorsements are things that are attached as part of your title insurance. They got a whole book of them. So, in fact, you can look them up. I'm trying to remember how I found the whole book, but it was either under ALTA, ALTA endorsements, or First America title endorsements. But it was like there's a whole book of these different ones they fill out depending on what the situation is. And so this first one is effective date, located at said land, single family residence. Okay, said land, right, is West Gelding Drive, Surprise, Arizona. That would be the right address. I don't know if we're going to get any more off of that, but these are just these different endorsements. And then an environmental protection lien. And so you had been told by the servicer that you had a lien on your property, right? And she said it was an environmental protection lien, and you thought it was this, but this is really the endorsement to cover the lien. But did she say there was a lien on your property, that you had a...
Yeah, she had told me that there was a lien put on prior to me closing 3 days before.
Right.
And that's when she said it's either in a tax court or it's in the taxing department. But she said that, it depends on where, and this was me now talking to her today, is that, well, she said it might be in a tax court because it just depends on where you're at. It's either in a tax court or a tax building where that lien is put on there.
Right. But she hasn't provided a copy of the lien yet.
Nope, she hasn't.
Okay, so hopefully that's what's coming. Right? Because she says there's a
Fingers
lien,
crossed.
and we ain't seen one yet. But if there was, this was supposed to have covered it. Policy of title insurance. This one looks different than the one they gave you, at least the way the front page is. Because this isn't. So they said there's an owner's. So switching gears now, you've also talked to the title insurance company.
That's correct.
Right? And they said that there's a policy for the owner, and then there's this policy. So
right.
What did they say about that?
Let me see if I can find out here. I have it in my email, so I can tell you. Now, this was because I went over to them because you had said that they have underwriters, because Roe had found out about the underwriters, and they happen to be attorneys for these different places, and that's apparently what this guy was too when I called to him. And he said, with regard to the attached items, because I had asked him about this with the policies, I sent him scanned copies. He said, with regard to the attached items, they have to do with the policy of title insurance issued to your former lender. That is why the lender is shown as the insured on the attached policy. 2 policies of title insurance were issued, one to you and my ex, the owner's policy, and one to the lender, the loan policy. None of the attached items appears to relate to the owner's policy for the property that you no longer own.
Okay. And so Schedule A is the very first page of the second group that you sent me, because this policy of title insurance is page 10. So this is the one they did they're saying for the lender. And then I had this Alta extended coverage, the amount it was for, the date of the policy, named the insured, right? The insured Mortgage Electronic Systems solely. Right? So if they've insured Mears, then why in the hell is Mears foreclosing on you? They've been insured. Right? That doesn't make any sense. The estate and interest in the land is encumbered, which is encumbered by the insured mortgage, is fee simple. Title to the estate or interest in the land is vested in, and this is where they're using a legal fiction instead of, we saw the other page where they used Bob's proper name and his wife's proper name, and now we're going to add Robert B. Kirby with the middle initial, also known as, well, no, Robert Bradford Kirby is who he is, also known as Robert B. Kirby, maybe. But this whole sentence is who the title is in. It isn't in Robert Bradford Kirby. And I think that this is where, even as we're looking now for the note certificate, that this is the name that it's probably going to be in. Because title to the estate or interest in the land is vested in that name. And I believe the estate is probably the I'm going to say, I'm trying to tie the money to the land in some sentence that would put them both together, and title to the money and title to the land. I don't know that that's what that means, but that's just me hoping it does. The insured mortgage and assignment thereof is described in the following. Okay, so Exhibit 1. So the insured mortgage and assignments thereof, if any, are described as follows. And then land referred to in this policy is situated in the state of Arizona, county of Maricopa, and described as follows. And we're going to see that they're not using the same survey system as the public land survey. Right? So this goes back to another video we did with the last video we did with Bob, where we were looking at from the BLM his survey township that still shows where his house was, that the railroad owns it since 1911, and the map was updated in 2014.
Right.
Right? So say, hey, how come my name isn't on this? Because that's the federal government's. Right? That's the BLM saying who owns the property. And they're still showing somebody from 1911. So, okay, exclusions. I don't know that there's anything to talk about there. Another endorsement. I don't know if there's much to talk about in the endorsements at all, other than they sent them.
No.
But Exhibit A. So this is the legal description they're using. Lot 104, corrected plat of Royal Ranch. So they're using a subdivision plat, basically. According to the plat recorded in, blah, 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 blah. What they're not using is what the public land survey would say is the proper legal what do we call it, Bob? The legal description. Excuse me.
Right. Yeah, legal description, sorry.
Right. Yeah, that's what I was trying to go to, which I just saw today for the first time myself, and unfortunately I don't have it pulled up right now, but it was on the public land survey system site on the USGS, United States Geological Service, that says that the legal description starts with the state, then the meridian, and then the township. And if this doesn't take me too long, I'm going to just quick show it, Bob. You don't need it. It's in the link that I sent you just before we got started here. I think I Skyped you a link.
Oh, okay.
Right? That. So you'll know what I'm going to be looking at. But I had shut it off, so it's going to take a minute for it to come back on. I just want to show that, hey, they're using different legal descriptions. So if you want to know if you own the property or not, well, it depends on what legal description you have and who you're taking it to. But as far as the federal government's concerned, Exhibit A isn't the legal description. That will be all the way down here. Okay. I'm just about there. Come on, connect. Connect, 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 connect. Probably got too many windows open. Public Land Survey System. Come on. Okay, finally. Okay, so in this article, so this is just
Oh
on the
shit! Because right there it is. Yeah. Okay, I see it now.
USGS, the national map, right? The national map, small scale. And if you scroll down and go below the United States of America, it's kind of colorful. So all those states in color were all part of the Public Land Survey System. 30 states are included in the survey system. So I can't speak for the rest of America, but for those. But it says a legal land description of a section includes the state, principal meridian name, township, range designations with directions, and the section number. And it gives an example. Nebraska, 6th principal meridian, T7N, R2W, section 5. That's a legal description, according to the the United States Geological Survey. Or is that, I don't know what this S stands for, I guess. And so, and then, so if you go to the
So we
site,
couldn't be able to use that. We couldn't be able to use that for our own land description because it's not there.
well, but it is someplace, and this is, see, so this is the thing. That is the, I was talking to Ro about this earlier, and I don't know if this is correct, but I'm going to take a stab at it. This is the legal land description in the United States of America. The one that you got from the BLM is for United States of America.
Right, because the way I'm looking at it right now on for my land, it does give the meridian and it does give the state, but it gives it at the end. And this is for the plat map that still shows that Santa Fe Railroad Company is the owner. So it says Township 3, North Range 1, west of the Gila and Salt River Meridian, Arizona.
Yep. And so this said that all the meridians have a name, right? Then it goes on to say that the name in this case is called the 6th meridian. So what did you just say your meridian was called?
The Gila and Salt River Meridian.
Right. Now, I don't know if that's the name of the principal meridian or not, but, maybe it's supposed to be 15. Not a name, it's supposed to be a number, because that's what this is. This is the 6th principal meridian. That's its name. So, I'm just showing you people that it's all in the name, and this is the one that the Public Land Survey is based on, and this is the one that they divided it in the first place by this system. So, okay, I'm gonna go back to where are you? Right here. And so lot 104 of recorded plat of Royal Ranch Unit 1, Parcel 3, blah, 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 isn't quite what they had on the Public Land Survey way to do a legal description. Schedule B, these are, this policy does not insure against these particular things. And again, this was all meant for the lender, who's, technically you, right? We're the lender. They said that Mears, he said it was for the lender. The attorney told you, but it says on here it's for Mears, and Mears wasn't the lender. They're the nominee, right? But they made Mears. They made Mears the insured. They didn't say as the nominee for somebody. They made Mears the insured. Okay, conditions and stipulations. I don't know if there's any more in that one. I'm going to go open up another one. So bear with me a second. I get too many open let's see here. We had on the 3rd. Because in Bob's case, he gets the mail and there's 40 some pieces of paper in a package, but nothing really explaining what it is, and it really wasn't quite what he was led to believe he was getting, although it's leading to, its own points of interest. but you have to start somewhere. So you have to ask a question, and if you do, hey, they'll send you a bunch of paper. So here's another one from the document control. So I'm in that third group now on the second page, and this is for, what is this one for? It doesn't say. The Talon group. Document control to Merrill Lynch. And that's who something else went to those people. Oh, something to do with the title. That's right. And this says, what is this? Okay, loan number. Yep, has it. The policy. Department, order number, property, that's got the proper land description there. Attached, please find the following items. Policy of title insurance. So this must have been the cover sheet to the title insurance policy that we were just looking at. Okay. Now we get into the nitty gritty. So now we come to, this is the third page, Bob, the paid in full, fixed adjustable rate note.
Okay, right. 23?
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that's your handwritten number in there is your loan number, 707779, right? You didn't put that in there. That was already on there when you got it. And it says paid in full at the top. But it doesn't say when it was paid in full. As we're going to see, there's nowhere on here it says paid in full, but it does say it's paid in full.
Right, and when you say it's nowhere to be shown, you mean that it's not been dated, nothing's been dated
Yeah,
at
there's
all.
no date that it was done, right? I mean, where's something to show me that it was recorded paid in full instead of just stamped paid in full? I agree that that's evidence it's paid in full, but there's no record of it anyplace. And then this went down to, it's 4 or 5 pages long, and we get to, this is page 27 now. So Bob had asked for a copy of his note, which this is, endorsed in blank. And the first time they sent you a note, it didn't have anything on here, right, on this last page. They just sent you the note with your signature.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And then you said you wanted it endorsed in blank, and they said, well, you're going to have to send a fax and do some other stuff. And
right.
And then we had to do some more. Well, finally, when he gets this stuff sent to him, it was endorsed, but they've deleted the endorsements.
Right. And Rob, I want to stop right here
Yep.
at least to tell people with this, though, because this is the very important part is that these people, and when I say these people, the counter trolls, the people you might be talking to get some of this stuff, they are left in the dark because I kept hammering this woman that was the customer advocate for me, and she was still saying that, she even told me, that the only way that I would ever get that endorsement if I was in a foreclosure. Well, I was never in a foreclosure. Mine got sold because I got a divorce, and yet they still put a stamp on that.
There you go.
They sent it over saying it wasn't there. So you guys have to believe, Rob and myself, that there is a stamp on there. You just got to keep pushing them to get it. And they're probably not going to be the person you're talking to over the phone that's going to know about it. But trust us, it is there. It's just that you got to get them to send you the documents of everything in order to get this stuff. Because I kept telling her, and she'd say, well, no, you're not going to have it. I don't know what you're searching for, And then sure enough, here it is that, it had a stamp. I didn't go through foreclosure, yet they went ahead and they put one on there.
Right. Now they put 2 of them on there. This is the strange thing,
Yeah.
right? It's one's from PHH Mortgage, and the other one is, I think they're both from PHH Mortgage. Right? I got to make this zoom in a little bit. Assistant Vice President, PHH Mortgage. Rita Caldero, Assistant Vice President, PHH Mortgage.
Right, and the other one is Janice Grant, and she's the Assistant Vice President, PHH Mortgage
Right.
Corporation, authorized agent for Merrill Lynch Credit Corporation.
Mm-hmm. But in both cases, after the pay the order of, it doesn't have a name. So in this one where it says pay the order of and it says PHH Mortgage Corporation, that isn't who the pay the order of is. That's who's going to pay. That's the bank that's supposed to pay this damn thing. And then page 8 of that group, which I guess would be 28, is a signature name affidavit, which shows Robert Bradford Kirby in his proper name with the loan number And this is to certify that my legal signature is as written and typed below. Signature must exactly match signatures on note and mortgage or deed of trust. Robert Bradford Kirby, and then Bob signed it. I am also known as, and then all of these lines were blank, and then it said, and that, and then they put in this computer generated script for Robert Bradford Kirby. So what this says
And
is,
just so that you guys know, that's not my signature down below where that is.
right, that isn't Bob's signature. So,
And
and
look at the
that
Y's,
Robert
and now I
Bradford
do the Y.
Kirby are one and the same person. So the Robert Bradford Kirby that signed up here in his own pen and the Robert Bradford Kirby that was done on a computer are one and the same person. So I don't know who certified that. Bob didn't certify it.
And I sure as hell didn't write that because if you can look at, if I can point out here, Rob,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at my R's are always the same up at the top where I have the loop underneath it.
Yep.
And then if you look at the R down there, it's just a straight line R.
Yeah.
When you look at the Y, they do a little tail there. I don't do that. My Y's are always just up and down there at the end of it all. Um, so,
Right.
yeah, you can see some
It,
definite
it looks to
details.
me like the person that did it's the same person that said subscribed and sworn or affirmed before me and Amy somebody. Right. That looks
Mm-hmm.
more like the same handwriting
Mm-hmm.
as Robert Bradford Kirby. Amy somebody in Notary Public somewhere. I can't even read where her state is. Oh, county/parish of Maricopa. I don't know you had a
Mm-hmm.
parish of Maricopa, Bob, but apparently you do.
Yeah, we do.
Right? Because this is from Arizona, right? The state Commonwealth of Arizona. I didn't know you had a state Commonwealth of Arizona. Because
I didn't
Commonwealth,
either.
right? That'd be like the Queen. That's interesting. State Commonwealth of Arizona, county, parish of Maricopa. So state and county go together, and Commonwealth and parish go together.
Oh,
Possibly,
okay. I see
right?
that. Possibly. Okay.
Huh. I hadn't noticed that before. So anyway, somebody added this name in here, and so now if they sign that name on some this script name, not the one that Bob signed in his own hand, but this one that I believe is computer generated, they could sign for Bob because everybody just agreed that that's him. Amy said so. She swore to it. And right, so now they have a signature to use on papers that they can compare and say, yep, that's Bob's signature. She swore to it. Um, okay, and then what's this? Oh, now here's the one that they. This what is this one here, Bob? It's a blank piece of paper. Well, not blank. It's got the loan number. It's got your name, West or W Gelding Drive,
Mm-hmm. Now,
loan
this is
amount.
something that they just created themselves. I didn't see this, never seen this before until they mailed this to me.
Right. Without recourse. There's nothing on that one. But if we go to the next one, which is the 10th one, this one says it's an allonge to note. And I'm going to quick go to, I believe I have that saved on what it says on Fannie Mae about allonge to notes under note holder. This says, this on the Fannie Mae's website, ownership and possession of note by Fannie Mae. I don't know if you're on this page or not, Bob, but I can drop this in the box and you can just go to it real quick. Fannie Mae may have direct possession of the note, or a custodian may have custody of the note. If Fannie Mae possesses the note through a document custodian, the document custodian has custody of the note in Fannie Mae for Fannie Mae's exclusive use and benefit. So the note goes to Fannie Mae. Where is the part, though, I wanted to read about the allonge? Is that on this page? No temporary possession, custody. Oh. Maybe that wasn't the right page, Bob.
Okay.
Well, it says note endorsement. Do that again. Yeah, if you go up into the search and just type in Allonge, Allonge, and it will take you to B8304. Note endorsement. So the originating lender must be the original payee on the note, even where Mears is named as nominee for the beneficiary in a security instrument. Note must be endorsed to each subsequent owner of the mortgage unless one or more owners endorse the note in blank. The last endorsement on the note should be that of the mortgage seller. The mortgage seller must endorse the note in blank and without recourse. So if you look at what, I'll go back to the note here. It says how to do it, right? Pay to the order of, without recourse. Is that on here someplace? Without, yeah, there's without recourse. Lender's name, authorized signature, name of the authorized signer, and title of the authorized signer. All of those elements are in that stamp they put on the last page of your note. The endorsement must appear on the note, and allonge may be used for an endorsement as long as the following requirements are met. The form and content of the allonge used must comply with applicable state, federal, local law. The allonge must be permanently affixed to the related note and must clearly identify the note by referencing at least the name of the borrower, the date of the note, the amount of the note, and the address of the security property. Well, this allonge has all that information on there, but it wasn't attached to anything. And so Bob questioned them on that today. Right? Why isn't this allonge attached to the note? And so you've even gone further with this. You know, we won't even get into too deep, but you've taken all this now and gave it to Fannie Mae and said to their ethics department, right? And said, hey, what's going on? Why is my allonge? I don't even know what you told them exactly, but I'd have to pull up your email. But they've answered you, and they sent
Yep, they did.
and they sent it on to somebody else, right?
Yep.
Now, did you notice on this allonge it says PHH Mortgage FKA Cedent Mortgage Corporation?
I just noticed that now. I was just kind of looking at it side by side.
Right, it'd be formerly known as.
Oh, okay.
Right?
All right, yeah.
I guess.
Right.
And I mean, because formal can mean that's their proper name, that kind of formal, not like it used to be, but formally. My formal name is Cedent Mortgage Corporation. That may come into play. But on this one again, see, it says pay the order of, and there's a little squiggly line there with the name waiting to be written in, and I think Bob wrote his name there and sent it to Fannie Mae and said, pay me.
Heck yeah, I did.
Did you? Is that what you did?
Yep, I did. Yeah.
That's how you get it done, right here. And they sent it on to the Resource Center.
Yep, they sent it over to those guys and waiting to see.
Yeah. So, this is why you ask questions, I guess. Okay. And then number 4. In just a minute here, beyond the. And we get done looking at this group of papers from Bob, we're going to look at another forensic analysis that another brother in Arizona had done, and well, it's got its own story too. Okay, finally, this thing opened up. You rotate. Yeah. Okay, so then it was some kind of fixed adjustable rate rider. Is this different than the other one, Bob, or is this the same thing as the one that says?
It's the same.
Yeah, so this one doesn't say it's paid. The other one says it's paid.
Right. The other one says it's paid. This one doesn't.
Right, but it's the same document, right? This isn't like you did another got another loan. This is just a copy of the same document again, but not showing
Mm-hmm.
that it's paid.
Right.
Okay. So really, there isn't much to look at there. Except we get to the last page, and what is it we're looking at? Okay, so this is a note. This is the note. This is the one that's endorsed. Was your wife's signature on the other one?
No, just mine.
Well, then it isn't the same. Why would they have you sign two of them? Right? Because she
Which
signed
page are
this
you
one.
on?
Well, I'm on, this is the page 34.
Okay.
Right? So it's your second note, and this is that fourth group of papers that you sent me.
Right. Okay, I see it.
Right? She signed this one.
All right. Let me see what the other one was.
Because I don't have the other one open anymore. And
Let me look at it.
what page was it
Okay,
on?
this one was that was on page 23. The other one.
Okay. All
So
right.
that is a fixed adjustable rate note. Oh, because that's a fixed adjustable rate rider. That's why, Rob.
Okay.
I looked at that too. So
Okay.
the one that you're looking at on 31, it says fixed adjustable rate rider. The one on 23 is fixed adjustable rate note.
Got it. So on the note, only you signed the note,
That's correct.
correct? Yes, only you signed the note. But the rider, for some reason, they had your wife sign the rider.
Right.
So the note's still only in your name, basically,
Yep.
right? Because they didn't do a affidavit of
Signature with her.
signature for her, right?
Yep.
Okay. And then plan unit development rider. Do you notice they don't have any name for the plan unit development in there? The property is part of the plan unit development known as, and it's blank. It's kind of right there in the middle of the paper. This is, what, 35? Page 35?
Yeah, I'm looking at it. Right, the 18th day of April 20th, 2005. And what part were you saying?
The declaration. The
Oh,
property
the
is part
declaration.
of a planned unit development known as, and then there's a blank. Name of planned unit development. There's no name in there.
Right, and it should have been whatever that Fulton Homes thing that we're in, or
Right, because we
can't
found
remember.
your, whatever they said you were involved in as far as a homeowners association. You had some kind of wall agreement or something like
Right,
that, right?
right.
So, right, they had you sign something that doesn't exist. There's nothing listed there,
Right.
but you and your wife signed it. So, um, so did they? Excuse me, take a copy of these and put some other name in it and stick it in the record someplace.
Probably. They put them past them.
Okay, and then on the 8th page, it'll be 38. This is the deed of trust.
Right.
All right, now this is interesting for a lot of reasons because if you go online to the official records of Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell, not necessarily the official records of Maricopa County, but the official records of Maricopa County Recorder Helen Purcell, that official records stamp will be covered up online. It'll say it's unofficial.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have this LS. Now, what other document was this on? Because this is the second time it's come up, and it was on that title transmittal paper or something like that, I think it was. We saw it
Right.
earlier. I'm just saying, we saw this earlier. And here it is
Right.
again, some court case on Bob's paperwork that nobody seems to know what it goes to. The MIN number, they circled the end. And if you notice, it's the same as the loan number, except the last number is one digit off. So,
I'm wondering, Rob, if they whited that out there, though.
why did what out?
That was supposed to be a 3. Because there's a little blotch whiteness right there.
Okay.
It says the one that's circled there. It looks like there could have been a 3 there, and they blotched it out with a little white dot.
Okay. So 707 969 4, 5, 4, or the 3 doesn't matter because I think the loan number is 10 digits.
Right.
Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's what it is. So they don't use the last digit either. I guess that's what it is. They don't use the last digit.
Right.
Right? So if you're trying to figure out what your loan number is, well, don't count the last digit and then go forward 10 digits, and that's your loan number. Boy, they're showing.
Right, because even on that mortgage interest statement, they only used it to the 4. They didn't use the 3.
Mm-hmm. Whatever it is,
Okay.
see, and again, this says it's paid in full, and it doesn't say when, so you could easily say, well, it's paid in full. It was done on the day I did it. I don't know why we're in court. It's paid in full. Now, I don't
Right.
know if they did this for Bob because he sold his property, or is this the way it looks in their records, and they just haven't given us the lien release, because this would be the lien release, to me, paid in full, right? You get your receipt back that you paid your invoice.
Right, and this is why you guys need to go and ask for these things and get this from them, because of the fact that that says paid in full. All this stuff, the LS 2005, that L number with the circle around the MIN number, paid in full, that isn't being shown at all, period, in the county recorder's office.
Right.
That's there today.
Right, you look this up, and none of that's there, and the official record stamp is covered.
Right, and I can't remember, but there was something also in the recording where the number didn't match up at the top right-hand corner, where it is covered up. You see like numbers, but a couple of the numbers aren't showing up on that document, like the one that is being recorded.
Mm-hmm. And then it says 4/4 with the number before it, 4335385. No idea what that is. If somebody has an idea, leave a note. What is that? Whose number is that? Because these are all, this is all like incorporated by reference stuff. When they put that on there, it's incorporated by reference into something else. Like this document was used as evidence in court case LS 2005-00311F or something. But all I know is it's paid in full. And if they sent you a copy of this and you were in a foreclosure, you go into court and say, hey, it's paid in full.
Well,
and what do they use for the address on this? West Gelding Drive. Yeah, they used the right address, it looks like.
no, everything's in full.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, why did I put this note here? So I'm on the last page now. Being more particularly described by a legal description attached here to and made part thereof, being the same premise conveyed to the mortgagors herein by deed being recorded simultaneously. One of these pieces of paper, Bob, it mentioned a map being attached to it.
Yeah, I just thought of that when you were talking to me.
All right, so if you
They're
can
supposed to
remember
be.
where that is, please take me back there, and because I got to shut most of these down as I go through them, or I get lost.
Right.
View, rotate, and let's go get this last one ready. Where did they do that?
Was it the title insurance stuff, I think?
I do believe it's on the title insurance, absolutely. Slowly go back through them here. Okay, deed of trust given to secure. No. It's going to be on one of these schedules or something, probably.
Right.
Endorsement. or it's on an endorsement.
Yeah, because I remember I was supposed to. One thing I forgot to ask that lady is where's the map that the thing was supposed to be attached to? Click on it.
Hey, this is how it is. We do it live.
Yeah, right.
Damn, where was that thing at? I know it's in here someplace. There we go. This is on page 8. Endorsement.
Is it page 8?
Right. The company
Okay.
insures the insured. That is the effective date hereof. There is located on said land single-family residence, known as, it gives the address, and that the map attached to this policy shows the correct location and dimensions of the said land according to those records which are under the recording laws in part constructed notice as to said land. That's what we want. Where's this map they're talking about?
Right.
Because that would have been part of the, it's included in the endorsement, so it had to be part of the insurance policy. And so we'll see if the insurance policy comes up with one. But this policy number up in the corner, this 416 number, this is the 416-433-5385. Bob got some, and so did the lender, whoever they are. And so we're trying to get the insurance company to give us a complete package of this policy number, and we'll see how that goes. But okay, Bob, that's really, pretty much, unless you can think of something else to say on what we've looked at, I'm going to go to.
No, I mean, pretty much just my emphasis to everybody that is listening and watching is just, make sure you do ask them for this stuff and keep hounding them because, these bankers that are answering the phones, they are kept in the dark. And my stuff that I found was because of the fact that, Rob kept persisting with me that, there is on these notes, they're on the notes that they got paid in full. So I was wanting to get paid, and so I kept hounding for him. And, she kept saying there's nothing there, unless it was a foreclosure. And then all of a sudden they send it to me, and look at all the stuff that's there. So it is there for you guys. Just look for it.
Yeah. And so we're going to look at, just real quick, Jim had or James, I guess he goes by Jim, had a financial analysis done. And so this screenshot we're looking at here, so I'm on page 4 of that PDF, Bob, shows that this is from the Bloomberg, right? So if people have access to the Bloomberg terminal, apparently they can pull this up. And it gives the name of his, I guess we'll call it the REMIC. I believe that's the right name. It's a Seawalt 2005-16A1 that has a QSIP number. And Bob had been told by a stockbroker that if he could get the QSIP number, that's what the guy needed to find the certificate. And if with the certificate, he could settle the account. Does that mean send me a check? Well, no, it means open up an account and send you a checkbook. Okay, we'll take that. But apparently this isn't the QSIP number he's talking about, because this QSIP number goes to the entire mortgage-backed security. That sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. And so
it's the pool is what they would say.
Okay, yeah, this is the pool. Right. And so you've had a couple other conversations. You also talked to Bank of Mellon, right? What was it the Bank of Mellon told you about what they needed? Because we were hoping we could take to the Bank of Mellon, thinking that on one of these prospectus, it shows the Bank of Mellon as being the paying agent. I think that's what they.
Right. That's why we went
Right.
there.
So you went there and you talked to somebody at the Bank of Mellon, and what did they say they needed?
They needed to have the certificate to show ownership to that
Right.
to the stock or
Right.
securities or
The
whatever
the
it is.
certificate itself is what conveys beneficial ownership. And so
Right.
giving them a copy of the note signed wasn't going to be good enough. But it doesn't mean that giving somebody a copy of the note signed isn't what will get you the certificate. I believe that it can. Um, and as we went deeper, I won't have time to go into this in this video, but a lot of this stuff, everything goes back to Fannie Mae, basically. If you look at your deed of trust, it's got Fannie Mae's name on it. Well, it's Fannie Mae's paperwork. And they're actually the holder in due course on all this stuff. And they have all these other people to dilute the pool so you can't find it so easy. Servicers on top of servicers on top of trustees, but it all goes back to them. And they say that their paying bank is the Federal Reserve of New York. So just to keep that in mind, that at the end of the day, that's where it gets paid out of.
Right.
So I don't know how to read any of this, but I'm going to go down to the page I saw that was very interesting. It's so page 5. It shows the trustee is the Bank of New York. That's why I went there, because it said trustee, Bank of New York, and that's now the Bank of New York Mellon. They had merged. But the paying agent, it didn't say who that was. It's like, well, it's like in the same box. It's just one level deeper, and we didn't get that information. Or like trigger details. Well, that would be good to look at. What are the trigger details? We're looking at related parties, but what are the trigger details to make something happen? And go down lower. 6. I don't know how to read any of this stuff, so.
Me neither.
All right, I'm just going to stop long enough on the top of each page for somebody who's ever seen this that wants to make a comment, they can, right? But this is all to do with a QSIP that goes to a pool, and we're trying to get to the single loan, because part of doing this is, as they give the notes to Fannie Mae issues a certificate, and the certificates are tied to each loan gets its own certificate. And we need that certificate to go to the bank to get paid. It's really that simple. It's like, okay, well, how do we get that done? Where did it say, though, to get to the single level? It was on one of these pages. Okay, it's not on that page. Remember I showed you it says to do this and this to go to the loan level document or whatever it was?
Was it at page 14? No?
Page 14 talks about doing that. That's actually in the. Maybe it's 14. I'll get there in a second. No. There's actually a page in this group. Oh, okay. On page 7 at the top, it says enter 2 go -16 go for loan level details. We're not looking at loan level details, and we would like to. And so the only way to do that is, I don't know, enter 2 go and 16 go for loan level details. So if you ever go to take somebody with a Bloomberg, anybody out there? Well, if you're trying to get to the loan level, I don't know how they got to this level, but you and Jim have talked not to the person that did this for Jim, because they've kind of retired and moved on, but to the person that taught that person how to do these things, and he's looking into it right now.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and kind of get a new set of eyes on it, and then check and see. And I guess from what Jim has told me is that now that the paperwork he is believing isn't over at Fannie Mae like he thought it might be, so it is at Bank of America.
Okay.
So Well, we need to go through there on
Right,
that.
right. Because even though they may be the holder in due course, they're not actually holding the paper. It could be Bank of America's holding the paper. That, right? They
Right.
made him a trustee. So assignment of the mortgage assets on page 14. Assignment of the mortgage loans. At the time of issuance of the certificates of a series, the depositor, which would have been Countrywide Mortgage, will cause the mortgage loan comprising the related trust fund to be assigned to the trustee, together with all principal and interest received on behalf of the depositor or with respect to the mortgage loans after the cutoff date. Um, each mortgage loan will be identified in a schedule appearing as an exhibit to the related pooling and servicing agreement. So we're trying to find our loan to see which one of these it's attached to find the certificate that was created, that was given to whoever gave the issuer, which I believe is Fannie Mae, the paperwork, and they gave them a certificate. The trustee will concurrently with the assignment deliver the certificates to the depositor in exchange for the mortgage loans. Each mortgage loan will be identified in a schedule appearing as an exhibit to the related pooling and servicing agreement. That seems pretty cut and dried, right? So who's the trustee? Concurrently with the assignment, deliver the certificates, right? So here's the certificates to the depositor in exchange for the mortgage loans. So if you're in a foreclosure, it isn't so much, not that the mortgage loan isn't important, but it's the certificate. It's the thing that shows beneficial interest in that loan. And so don't ask them to bring the loan into court, ask them to bring in the certificate. Because I believe we're going to find that the certificate has our name on it. And I'll be doing a video on the certificates separately from this, but this was just to say, hey, this kind of paperwork is what you can find, and it isn't answering all the questions, but it's allowed us to ask some other questions, and we're to the point now where we've asked Fannie Mae what they can do, asked the servicer what they can do, asked a financial analysis guy what he can do, but somebody else has a better idea, please try it. You'll go get some paper from the servicer and see what it says and see if you can track it down, because someplace there's a certificate. Now, it could be a book entry certificate where it isn't even on paper yet, but it can be made into paper. And that certificate is what shows the beneficial interest in the loan. So, you got anything to add, Bobby?
No, I mean you hit everything right on.
Okay, okay. Well, that's all I really wanted to do. It's kind of hard to go through all this paper myself and try to remember all the details that go with it. So, I want to thank Bob for taking the time out to do this, because we all got things we all have a bunch of things we need to get done every day, and I appreciate his time to do this.
Yeah, you're
Okay,
welcome.
brother, I'm going to shut it off now, and I'll post this shortly, and we'll see if anybody has any constructive um, comments. Just put them on the in the comments of the videos. Appreciate it. Okay, see you, Bob. Take care,
Yep.
brother.